Welcome to the third film in this year's European film series. But in fact, it's not the only European film or even the only European film program that's going on at Notre Dame these days. There's been a recent retrospective of French New Wave cinema, which I hope you have seen. And I'm very pleased also to say that tonight's film is part of another European film program here at Notre Dame called the Tournée of French Film that was supported by a grant from the French Embassy, the French American Cultural Exchange, and a number of other sponsors. Tonight is actually a double feature in that series. We will see Seraphine tonight, but there is also a film that follows it called Welcome by Philippe Lioré, which I encourage you all to stay to see. Because of the double feature tonight, there won't be time afterwards, as there typically is for any question and answers. So just stay in your seats, maybe get some more popcorn and see another great film. I also have to mention with pleasure that in tonight's audience is Zadia Rahmani, who is Director of Research at the National Institute for Art History in Paris, France. So the theme of tonight's film and her attendance is not exactly a coincidence, but it's a very welcome coincidence. Here to make some remarks about tonight's film is Professor Vittorio Hosle, who has to be one of the most entertaining people to introduce, I think, at Notre Dame because of the diversity of his titles. He is Paul Kimball, Chair of Arts and Letters. He teaches in the Department of German and Russian. He's the director for the Notre Dame Institute for Advanced Study. He's concurrent professor of German, concurrent professor of political science, a fellow of the Nanook Institute, a fellow of the Kroc Institute, and he is an expert on many subjects, as you can imagine. So here to give us a few remarks about the film is Professor Vittorio Hosle.
I know exactly how you feel. You hope that I will be very brief, and I will be brief because I do think that one of the greatest errors of every person who deals with art is to think that speaking about art can replace the enjoyment of art. It's as if I would narrate you something about a beautiful dinner, it doesn't really feed you. So I will be very short, which often is, of course, a performative contradiction because then people begin to be very long, but I will be very short. The film is very remarkable that you are now about to see. It is by a French director, Martin Provost, who is not very famous, he's not very old, and he hasn't done many movies. But when I saw it, when Anthony asked me where I would like to introduce it, I was immediately struck by the high quality of this film. It is a biopic, a biography, a filmic biography about a naive painter. And this naive painter, Séraphine Louis, also called Séraphine de Senlis because she lived her life in the northern French city of Senlis, is a very powerful movie about a woman with a vocation. She is housekeeper already in her 50s, lives a very strange life, scavenging here and there substances from the earth and from nature, and creating artworks that nobody really seems to appreciate. Till a German art historian and collector and art trader comes to Senlis, and she's his housekeeper. The relation is very formal, till in another household he finds one of her paintings and it's struck by the quality. But then the First World War breaks out and he has to leave as a German Jew France, and only in the late 20s he comes back to France, thinks that the lady must have died by now, but at an art exhibition sees her art and is again overwhelmed by it, tries to organize collections, and this Séraphine Louis becomes a relatively famous artist. She belongs to the type of naive painters, and in fact she is not the first and the most famous French naive painter. Henri Rousseau is of course even more well known, but her discovery as a commercial success proves to be her ruin because she is not able to deal with the enormous amount of money that she earns after having become a famous person in her 60s, and she spends her money in a foolish way, and when the economic crisis in 29 hits France, she's no longer able to maintain their lifestyle, has a mental collapse. She gets out on the streets dressed up as a bride because she wants to marry the church, and is brought to a mental hospital where she will finish her life. What is fascinating about Seraphine is how she develops her feeling of art, and you will see that some of the most impressive shots in the movie are images of the nature in which she lives and with which she can commune. And the beauty of the end is that even in a psychiatric asylum, she is able to reconnect with nature, even if she has to give up her art. So there is a primordial beauty of nature which art tries to mirror, which inspires her. And the other aspect is, of course, the religious art which inspires her. Senlis has one of the most beautiful early Gothic cathedrals in France, and you will see some spectacular shots of these of a cathedral, and the stained glasses were one important source of inspiration for her. It is also very touching to see how the relation between her and her discoverer develops. They are both very shy person, but slowly understanding for each other's different vocation and mission develops. And the two actors who play the role, Yolande Moreau and Ulrich Tukur, French and German author, whom you have already, I think, occasions to see here in this theater, because Yolande Moreau is known as the concierge from Amélie, and Ulrich Tukur was some months ago here with a white ribbon of Heineken, develop great respect for each other despite the enormous difference. And in many aspects the film ends on a sad note with a mental breakdown, but the enduring care that her friend and protector proves to show to her is the redeeming feature. And this is in many aspects the main difference to another biopic which probably many of you have seen, because it was very successful when it came out around 10 years ago, or even more, 15 years ago, the biopic of Camille Claudel, about Camille Claudel, the great French sculptress. Both Claudel and Seraphine, Camille Claudel and Séraphine Louis, are born in the same year, 1864. Both die in a psychiatric asylum, and only 1 year apart from each other. But while Camille Claudel is completely abandoned by her family, who fundamentally reject her, her brother, the famous poet of a Renouveau Catholique, Paul Claudel, doesn't make the best impression in the movie, not to speak of Rodin, whose mistress Camille had been for some time. The continuing care for Seraphine remains one of the most beautiful features of this movie. So I've spoken more than I wanted to do, but I hope you will enjoy the power of vocation and the power of art celebrated in this movie.